thank you for joining us for episode 10 of 1861, the North Central College podcast. Our guest today is Dr. Christina Nordick. She is the founding program director of the Masters of Entry to Nursing program at North Central, and we will talk more about that. She is also associate professor of nursing. Christina, welcome to 1861, the North Central College podcast.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. I'm very, very excited about the conversation. This is really an exciting moment for North Central. It's an exciting moment in particular for the School of Education and Health Sciences. And I think it's an exciting moment for an awful lot of students out there. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. But I want to give people an opportunity to get to know you a little bit more first. So, Christina, if you may, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are?
Sure. Well, yeah, I don't want to belabor it because I'm kind of old now and have lots of history. But I literally am a first generation college student back in the day. Grew up on a tiny little goat farm in Wisconsin with my 6 other siblings and joined the military. I was in the Navy time when women didn't usually go in the Navy, but it was good for me to be there. I served 12 years in the Navy, both as an enlisted person and an officer. And then I got most of my nursing education while I served in the military on active duty. So I became a nurse and then eventually became a nurse practitioner while I was serving. And then that little thing called getting married kind of drew me away from serving and
Sure.
new chapter in life. And then I worked as a nurse practitioner in family practice, still do, and been doing that for 30 plus years, and went into education right around the same time as I had my first child, and started teaching in biology, and bioethics, philosophy, and then eventually went into nursing as it seemed like a natural transition.
Well, thank you. First of all, Christina, thank you for your service. I would suspect that there are some folks who don't know that you started out serving in the Navy, but thank you for your service.
Yeah, they also always used to say that you're in the Navy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your educational background. You're obviously teaching nursing now on our campus. You're directing an important program, but how did you get to that point?
Yeah, great question. So I went to the University of Wisconsin in Madison for my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. And again, I was in the serving at that time in the military. Then while in the military, I did crazy things as worked full-time in the military and then went part-time at the University of Illinois in Chicago and became
Wonderful.
a family nurse practitioner. And then, of course, because I'm just a person who is so curious about life, just wanted to do some more things, did get a degree in Christian thought and bioethics at Trinity International University. And then eventually, it sounds like all I did was go to school. I went to where did I go? University of St. Francis for my DNP.
Nice.
So, and that's over, I don't know, a decade or more ago. So,
and can you talk about some of the first classes that you taught and how you've evolved as a teacher from that time? Because there's an evolution, right?
Oh my God, we all grow. And
yes.
So do teachers and instructors. So my first class I ever taught was to a group of, I taught Intro to Biology. And it was a group of about 60 students in a big, huge room. And it was, Biology 101. It was a lecture. We didn't even have a PowerPoint back then. So I was literally using, those transparent, maybe you don't know, transparencies on a thing that used to, kind of project it on a screen. Yes, that's what we used to teach with. And I tried. I look back and I go, oh, Chris, you could have done a lot better. But, it was your first class and it was good. It was a good experience. So I like to say I have definitely matured in my teaching strategies. So
And so, Christina, as you think about your own teaching now, what's different? How are you a different teacher based on that?
So back in the day, we stood up in front of the class expecting students to just absorb, like, it was like magical. I said something and it went into your brain. Oh,
Yeah,
well, we, thankfully over time we realized that just doesn't work,
yeah,
and that you really, I call it, you have to work the concepts now. So from a primary lecture based teaching strategy to one now where, yeah, we still have some of that, but not in class. We do things called flipped classrooms. So you do all
mm,
that prep stuff, all that knowledge information and all that kind of stuff before you get to class, and then you get to class and we work the problem. So we literally are applying the concepts together so that people actually understand it. It's not just head knowledge, it's now real. Now it gets kind of gets feet on it. So it's a very different kind of strategy of teaching. It's a lot more fun as an instructor instead of going, I feel like the Charlie Brown's teacher,
mm,
that's what we used to
sure,
do. We don't do that anymore. Now, I mean, literally, we play games, we do round robins, do case studies. I mean, we do some serious
sure,
things, but we
absolutely.
mix it up so that what we found in education is that you can't just work one line at a time. And what I mean by that is, if you think about a pathway of learning, if you just keep doing one thing over and over and over, well, that pathway gets broken down, right? It's
Yes.
very firm. But as soon as you get off of that, if you haven't experienced it beforehand, what's going to happen is you don't know what to do. And so what we want to do is make sure that there are multiple pathways to get from A to B so that you do have that capability.
Christina, why do you teach?
Oh, that's a great question. As a nurse, we teach all the time, right? If you've ever been ill, who's who's the one who's usually teaching you? It,
Absolutely right.
it's the nurse. It's the
Yes.
nurse that tells you what how, if you've been to the ER or to the clinic, they say, okay, here's your take home care and all that kind of thing. It's the
Yes.
nurse who teaches. So it kind of came naturally to me. I got to the point where I felt that my patients loved me. I did a great job. I hope I did a great job.
Hmm.
But I felt like I could do more, that I could extend the reach of my passion for health and healthcare by teaching students. And so that's what I did. I transitioned to nursing, got to extend, the Chris Nordick approach, if you will, to other people. And then they carried on the vision. So that's why I like it.
Well, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
We're very glad you're here. So, what is North Central's MENP program, and what exciting has happened about that program here this year?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Lots of fun things here. So, the Master's Entry into Nursing Practice is a program for pre licensure nurses. So, for people who have never done nursing, now they might have been an associate's like an LPN, they could have done that, but typically they're non nursing students who have a baccalaureate in some kind of field. So they would, say they got a BS in psychology or a BS in medicine, or excuse me, biology or something like that. But when they finished, they went, well, that just, there's either not a job in that, or I wanted to do something else. And so this program allows a student who has that kind of preparation to come back and get a pre-licensure degree, and at the same time not repeat bachelor level courses, but actually obtain a master's. And so rather than getting 6 years of a bachelor's education, you have your bachelor's and then you get 2 more years in a master's. So that's kind of cool. And it
Yes.
also prepares you, if you want, because you've probably already heard about this thing called a nurse practitioner, you need to
Yes.
be a nurse first. And so this also helps that pathway. So you've already, finished some of your master's courses, even if you wanted to go on for further education.
So why is it important for North Central to have this program?
Oh, this is so cool. So it's just really neat because North Central is in a perfect location for the needs of our community, not just Naperville. I'm talking about, the Chicago region, in fact. Did you
Yes.
know that about in the next 5 years, 20% of nurses plan to retire?
Wow.
20%.
Yeah.
That's huge. There's about, I think it's about 140,000 nurses throughout the state who are currently practicing. And if you take 20% of that,
Yep.
number one, you have job security because there's going to be an opening. But also there's a need. And there's a
Yeah.
need in our community and in our local community as well. The cool thing for North Central is that we're ready. We have all of the new labs. We've got a great classrooms. We've got wonderful faculty. We've got a lot of passion here about nursing. If you added up all of the educational teaching experience of the faculty here, it's older than me, believe it or not. And
Mhm.
so it's
Mhm.
it's it's great. And the other neat thing about the MEMP, I mentioned that it was for the post baccalaureate, but we also have this thing specific for North Central, and that is what's called the 3+2 and the Advanced Scholarship 3+2 program for our students here at North Central. And that's kind of a little confusing, probably. But what it means is that if you are a health science major and you meet all of our prerequisites, you can finish your health science major, get your BA or BS in health sciences, and you can then transition into the MENP program, finish that last year, and then finish one more year in the MENP. And in 5 little years, you get both an baccalaureate and a master's degree. The cool thing about the scholarship 3+2 is that if you are a freshman or a transfer student who meets requirements, you are guaranteed a spot in the MENP program. That's pretty neat.
It's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. So, as I'm hearing you talk through this, really a couple of different ways of earning that master's degree as an entry to nursing. Um, let's talk for just a moment about the student who completes the bachelor's degree, or is about to complete the bachelor's degree and says, I really don't want to do X. I instead want to become a nurse. What are some things that student should be thinking about to prepare themselves for the MENP? And then the second part of that is for the 3-2 student, at what point do they need to be thinking about it? But let's talk first about the student who is completing the bachelor's degree and wants to go down this path.
Absolutely. So, first of all, we have some prerequisites that need to happen. So, you need to have A&P 1 and 2 with a lab. You need microbiology. You need any kind of chemistry, a human
And
growth.
and 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 A and P would be anatomy and physiology.
Yes, I'm
I just want to
sorry.
make sure. No, that's okay. I want to make sure we don't lose people in the acronyms because there are a lot of them in this program. So anatomy and physiology, and then what are the other prerequisites?
Thank you for slowing me down. So, so yes, the anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, microbiology,
Yep.
a general or organic or biochemistry, one of those, a
Mm,
statistics course, a human growth and development, and then finally, what was the last one? Oh, a communication course, English
wonderful.
101, communication, something like that. So those are our prereqs. And you need a 3.0 in each one of them. So a B or better in them. And then we have an overall GPA of a 3.0 as well. So, and I should mention that there's a 7 year, what's called a recency part to that. So if you took your A&P, excuse me, anatomy and physiology,
Yeah.
in 1990, we're going to ask you to do it again before you apply.
Sure.
Not that the anatomy has changed, but our understanding of physiology has. So
Yes. Yeah, of
that's why we
course.
had that recency clause.
Yeah, understand. So then, Christina, let's talk about the 3-2 program, because I'm assuming that you can't just make a decision in your third year as an undergrad to take advantage of the accelerated 3+2 opportunity. So when do you need to be thinking about that, and what advice would you give to students who might want to, in those, as you described, those 5 little years, right? How do you prepare for that?
So, first of all, if you're thinking about nursing and this is the pathway that you want to pursue, you need to move now. You need to make sure that you are on the trajectory so that you can be successful. Make sure you
Yes.
have those prerequisites already done or soon to be done, because they have to be done before you actually apply, or be in process while you're applying. And so do that. Now, we have some great undergraduate advisors, and we also have, the head or the chair of the health science program, and they're great resources to help you connect their program to our program. So I would definitely encourage you to go that route. And then, what I would really, what from a nursing perspective, I would like to see the student actually, this may sound funny, but touch somebody in a health
Yes.
patient way, if you know what I mean. Some
Yes.
I have been in education long enough that I've had students who think they want nursing, but then when they get into nursing, they realize that there are some parts of it that they just can't do.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There are some parts of other professions I'm not going to do.
Right. Right.
So it's good to know if that is part of who you are. I mean, if you can't touch somebody, probably nursing is not going to be a good fit. But if caring for people and helping them in their journey is something that makes you passionate and empowers, just get you, float your boat or whatever you want to say,
Right.
then nursing is great. It has so many opportunities to not only just to help people, but to be a better person yourself.
Christina, as you were talking about the program, I want to transition. So they give students, prospective students, some ideas about how to prepare themselves to enroll. But you mentioned earlier facilities, labs. North Central College hasn't always had lab space specifically for nursing. And so can you talk a little bit about the commitment and the investment that North Central has made, and how the facilities that we have right now are beneficial to this program?
Yes, absolutely. So, over the last year, probably even before that amount of time, the idea of drawing nursing and getting nursing to North Central has been very high on the presidents and other influential people in the college to get nursing here. And what the college has done is that they've invested a lot of infrastructure to the program. So we have a state of the art uh, clinical laboratory. If you walked into our laboratory, you go, I can't tell if I'm in a hospital or not. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that
Yes.
authentic.
Yes.
So it's way cool. We have low, medium, and high fidelity. That means that they're fancier at different levels of mannequins. We don't usually call them that. No, we call them simulators, but most people are
Sure.
familiar with the term mannequin. And there's that, and then we have a classroom. Again, it's just right next to it, and we easy access to it. It's bright and beautiful, has all the latest greatest electronic things that we need for education. And yeah, and of course, we still have access as a nursing department to all the wonderful health science um, simulators and everything that's just right next door to New Hall. So students get the gamut, from the simplest thing of how do I take a blood pressure on a mannequin, to all the way, okay, we're in a trauma care, or or mama's having a baby, or whatever it is. We can simulate that before you even go see an actual real patient.
And how does that make for a better nurse?
Um, Well, maybe I'm going to turn the tables on you. Would you want somebody to do something to you who's never done it before?
Right? Of course
Right?
not. No, absolutely
Well,
not.
no. So what it does is it prepares them for you, but it also prepares them for themselves. It decreases
Yes.
the stress. It gives them confidence. It helps them to be able to not have that worry and anxiety. Well, maybe a little bit's good, but not that overwhelming anxiety when they start doing something with patients, so that they can actually do the things that are really therapeutic, like empathize and have compassion and do things and anticipate things, because you cannot do that if you're stressed. And
Right.
so we want to decrease that stress so that the best of nursing can happen.
Can you talk a little bit about your faculty colleagues, the people who instruct in this program? What are their unique attributes? Who are they? What are the benefits to the students who enroll in this program?
Yeah, so we're led by a wonderful chair, Georgine Maish, who is her specialty is both in leadership, education, and she was an OB nurse forever, I think.
Mm.
And frankly, out of all the fields on the planet, OB would be the one I go, no, thank you.
Ah,
So
sure.
I don't want screaming people and slippery babies, so I let her do that. So, but she's amazing, and she can handle anything. But she is our chair, and she teaches mostly currently in the master's nursing leader and nurse educator programs, helping the post licensure students achieve their goals. And then we have Dr. Chris Johnson, who is both a family nurse practitioner and a psych mental health nurse practitioner. And she serves as the director of the nurse practitioner programs. She is a practicing psych mental health nurse practitioner, and she also teaches on both of those sides. And she's wonderful as well. Brings just some really great experiences to our department. We also have Dr. Susan Thompson, who is a family nurse practitioner, and she does most of the FNP clinicals and gets them into their management courses. And we have Kristen Turnbull, who is working on her doctorate, but who's excellent. She will be serving primarily in the MENP program, and I think she's slated already for some of the clinical labs and some of the health assessment and perhaps patho and pharmacology there. And then we have a slew of what are called adjunct. Those are people that work with us, but that aren't half-time or full-time at North Central. And they're wonderful people. I really think out of all the places I've worked, this team is truly looking for the same thing, and that is student success and excellent patient care. You can truly, I mean, a lot of places can say that, but I truly believe that that's what we embody.
So let's build on that, Christina. Thank you for that. I think it's very helpful for our listeners to understand who they'll be in the classroom with. That's a big deal, right? That's important. Um, but why should a student choose North Central's MENP program in a marketplace that has options? What are the advantages of North Central's program?
Great question. We are one of, I think, less than a handful across the nation that have as its core the integration of lifestyle medicine into the program. And what that means is, let's kind of step back. Do you know that 80% of all diseases can be either cured, prevented, or modified by
Mm,
lifestyle
no,
modifications?
no,
80%. And if
yeah,
you look at all of the statistics of, okay, what's the leading cause of death? Heart disease. What, and you just go down every single one. The top 5 are chronic diseases. And
no.
so we are passionate, and I'm going to use that term again here because it really is, it really does capture that integration, is that we are passionate not only about doing the nursing skills that everybody knows about, but we're also passionate about changing ourselves and then helping others learn to modify their lifestyles in such a way that is driven by them, not by the nurse. We don't tell anybody what to do, but we
Right.
can help them in making, I call them baby steps, to be more healthy. And so we integrate that into our actual program from day one all the way through. And we use the American College of Lifestyle Medicine as the paradigm or as the structure of lifestyle medicine. And we focus on the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. And you could probably name, what are the big things that people need to change? Number one, come on, Jim, you can do it.
I'll let you answer it.
Okay, number one thing that helps people is their diet, is what
Their
they eat,
diet. Yeah,
right?
sure.
Physical activity, number two,
Yeah.
sleep, number three,
Yeah.
substance use, and I can go on. We don't need
Of
a lecture
course.
on lifestyle medicine, but you get the idea.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I suspect that people who are listening, our listeners, may not directly associate that with nursing the way you're making the connection.
Mm.
Why do you think that is?
I think, we all have stereotypes, right, about
Yeah.
what one profession does. Sometimes, TV doesn't help us. It
Right.
makes some stereotypes. Uh, Nursing is so varied. Um, some of that stereotype is true. Some of that is not, I mean, not all of it, but some of it is. And then so they perceive nurses as the person who takes my vital signs, the person who calls my prescription in, or the one who does my dressing change if I'm in the hospital or
Mm.
stuff like that. The doer. That's what they perceive. But and I don't know how to change popular thinking in that way, but when we first started talking, we talked about, okay, who does the education, right?
Yes.
Who talks
Yes.
to the patient? It's the nurse. And
Yes.
that privilege of being able to connect at a
Mm.
level that no other profession can have can make the most change, can help that patient or that community or that population become healthier in ways that I don't think any other profession can. There's a reason why nurses are the most trusted profession year in and year out.
Yeah.
And I think that it is a humbling privilege, but it's a responsibility too.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. It's very helpful. I think that frames the importance of the work that is being done every day to prepare nurses. So, Christina, let's imagine a student enrolls in this program, completes the program, they earn the master's degree. What are their options? What's available to somebody who earns the master's degree and has that entryway into being a nurse?
Okay, great question. So I'm going to kind of reframe that question because I think
Please,
that, if you don't mind,
I
is
don't
that
mind.
why I think the question would be, why should I get a master's pre-licensure? Why don't I just go down the road and get another bachelor's
Great,
or go down to the community college and get an RN diploma kind of thing?
great way to
Why don't
frame
I
it.
do that? And
Hmm.
and the answer is well, we talked a little bit about, you've already got a bachelor's, and why get more bachelor's level? Masters prepare nurses, although they are pre-licensure and will start out just like everybody else. They are a new nurse. They will start out just like them. But the big difference is that they have advancements much quicker. That's what the research is showing, is
Mm.
that because of their preparation, their life skills, they are able to advance in the profession of nursing much more quickly. And are making some significant changes in healthcare. So I think North Central is proud to be part of that. Is really
Absolutely.
a neat thing that that neat sounds so 60s, right? But it's a good thing. It's a
It is a
very
good thing.
very good thing to be part of that movement in nursing that helps the profession. Um, the average time from bedside nurse to charge nurse is about 5 to 6 years for the average nurse. One with an MENP is half that amount of time. So it's a
Wow.
big difference.
Yeah, that is a big difference. So we all have our own experiences with nurses. Um, I think people will often equate the nursing experience with perhaps a hospital setting, but this program prepares people to do a wide range of nursing specific roles. You
Absolutely.
think about being a nurse in a clinical setting, in a hospital setting. Um, these days, there are so many specialty medical healthcare opportunities. We think about whether it's orthopedics or ear, nose, throat, or whatever the case might be. Every single one of those settings requires a nurse. Does this program prepare students to do that kind of work in the wide range that is out there today?
Absolutely, it sure does, and we're purposeful on that. Excuse
Uh,
me. So yes, we're going to prepare you to be an inpatient nurse. That you can do that. What's called bedside nursing.
yeah.
We also prepare you for some low-level emergency intensive care nursing. We won't make you an expert. That's for later on, but certainly can do that. And then we can also we teach about community nursing. So the nursing that you see not in the hospital, like at clinics that you just mentioned. I recently I drove by. There was a new renal kidney place that's outpatient. And what a lot of people don't understand is, the kidneys and getting dialysis and all that is it's outpatient, but it's very high level knowledge and
Mm,
skills
mm.
for nurses. And so, yes, it prepares nurses for our students for that. It prepares them for mental health roles. It prepares them for pediatric roles, prepares them for OB roles, and you name it, any type of specialty within healthcare, our graduates will be prepared to enter. Will they be experts? No, they're still new nurses, but will they have the skills in order to succeed? Absolutely.
And they will also have the skills necessary to continue to learn in whatever specialty they choose, right?
Absolutely. Well, and that's one of the benefits of nursing. I started nursing in a long time ago, and it was in we won't say how long.
Right.
So medical surgical nursing. I was a floor nurse on a med surg unit. Then I went to
Wow.
ortho. Then I went to pediatrics. Then I went to ICU. Then I went to ER, and then I became a nurse practitioner. So I went to 5 or 6 different specialties
Mm.
as a nurse, learning and gobbling all this information and experience that I could, because there's so much variety that, one, I just like it because I love learning. But if there's a specialty you don't particularly doesn't float your boat, you can go to a different one, and you
Yeah.
might find that niche that is just that tickles your fancy and really makes you soar.
So, Christina, for the potential student who's listening out there, they're really interested. You have piqued their interest. Whichever route they want to go to enroll in this program, what are the next steps? What advice would you give to them uh, to make that leap to join the MENP program at North Central College?
You bet. Great question. So we have on our website, you'll find it under Master's Entry to Nursing Practice on the North Central website. And it has all the information, or as much as we could put on a website, and it
Yeah.
tells you what your prerequisites are, what you need to do, what is the process for applying. We use a system called Nursing CAS, so you just type Nursing CAS, and that is the application portal for any student who's interested in applying. And so you go through there, and then once you go through that process, we reach out to you. We have a nice technical interview. Basically, I just call it a 3-question conversation. So a little bit getting to
Sure.
know each other, and at that point, you meet the criteria and you are a good candidate, we will send you an acceptance letter and look forward to you starting in the fall. We only admit once a year. So right now, we actually have our priority admission process going on right now. Our first decisions happen. What is it? Oh, next week. It happens
Yeah.
next week is
Yeah.
our first decision processes. And then we do it on a monthly basis until our seats are full. And once they're full, we'll see you in the next cohort, maybe.
Right.
That's the process for applying.
So there's a couple of things that I want to highlight, if I may,
Please.
in that for our listeners. The first is that we only enroll once a year. So it isn't a case where you can start in the spring semester or over the summer. This is a one time a year start. And then second, seats are limited. This is a cohort program. So there are only so many students each year that are admitted into the program to carry through all the way to graduation. And that means that this isn't a case where students can really stop out, right? They have to start and carry through to graduation. Is that right?
That's a great point. Yes. So it is a 2-year, year round 76 credit program. So you start in with your cohort, you need not saying that you can't step back and you can't join a different cohort, exceptions can apply, but
Sure.
for a general rule, your cohort is your graduating cohort. And so you will be with them every step of the way.
Right. Right. For 2 full years, once you start in the fall for the fall semester, you're gonna carry through for 2 years, summer, spring, fall, winter, in order to complete this program.
That's right.
Christina, as we get ready to wrap up, and I promise you that the podcast goes relatively quick. Um, but there's a segment, and we ask all of these questions of all of our guests. I'm curious, what is your first memory of North Central?
Well, I had to drive in from out of town, and so I-80 was quite fascinating there, and coming on into Naperville, I didn't hang around Naperville very much
Mm,
before. It's a lovely, lovely town,
yes,
or
yes,
suburb, I guess you would call it. But it is historic. It's clean. It's got I remember I'm from Wisconsin. I love trees and green things and stuff,
yes.
and it is full of that. And the college is set in this environment of which it's just lovely. People are friendly, and I was lost wandering there. I'm like, what is
Mm,
that? And yep, they're just helpful. And so that was my
wow.
very first experience with North Central.
What has surprised you about North Central in the time that you've been here? And why don't you tell our listeners how long you've been with the college, and in that amount of time, what has surprised you?
So I was recruited to come to the
Right.
college for my expertise about now it'll be like 2.5 years ago,
Yep. Yep.
and um, it was a pleasure to come on over and to help start a new program. That I like that. I guess the thing that surprises me the most, boy, there's so many. I don't know which one to choose here. So. Um, I think it's our in the Navy we used to call it the can do attitude.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
don't know
sure.
if they still use that expression anymore. I don't use it very often, but I think it encapsulates the experience of we have a goal, or we have an issue, or we have something that we're trying to achieve, and we have the people that get around that and make it happen. Maybe we should have that as our logo. We make it happen. I don't know,
Nice.
but
Nice.
that surprises me. That's not the case in a lot of places. I mentioned I've worked in a few different universities and colleges, and this is unique. This is pretty cool.
That's a really nice thing to hear about North Central. Thank you, and it's nice to hear that from somebody who, all things considered, relatively new to the campus, to have that kind of experience. So, Christina, as we close out, this is your opportunity. We do this with every guest on the podcast. Do you have any shout outs?
Oh boy. Well, obviously, my colleagues at North
Yeah,
Central,
sure.
Georgine and Chris and Kristen and Sue, Michelle, our favorite adjunct. I might be the director, but we do this as a team, and so I just thank all of those folks for helping us get to where we are. Because yes, every person is important here for this
It
program.
takes a village, doesn't it?
It really does. It really
Yeah,
does.
it takes a village. Dr. Christina Nordick, founding director of the Masters of Entry to Nursing Practice program, North Central College, our guest on episode 10 of 1861, the North Central College podcast. Christina, thank you so much. What a joy. What a wonderful conversation. I feel like I learned so much about nursing and the program. Thank you for your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And best wishes to you and your colleagues and the students. What a remarkable program. To think that over the next couple of decades and beyond, the nurses that many of us encounter will be nurses trained at North Central College. That's something that people even 5 or 10 years ago would never have imagined. And you and your colleagues have brought that to life. What a remarkable comment about North Central College. So thank you for everything that you're doing, and best wishes to you and your colleagues.
Thank you. It's an exciting time.
Once again, Dr. Christina Nordick, our guest on 1861, the North Central College podcast. We are always so grateful to have you listening and learning more about the people who make North Central College the institution that it is. Once again, thank you for listening.